Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope everyone is having a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And today's video, what we will be focusing on is working together on making a crypto app, a simple, really simple crypto app in which we will be just rendering our cryptos. And as you can see here, we have our Bitcoin, we have the symbol, and we have the amount, the current price, and we have the image here, or the logo, or the icon. So that's what we're going to do today. And once again, I want to keep this very simple, not really having to do much with any styling or CSS, just because I don't want it to take away from the learning aspect of this project or this video. Okay, especially if you're struggling, the most important thing is just trying to build up that muscle memory to be able to put it into future projects as well. All right, so I'll see you in a little bit, and let's get right into it. So the first thing that we're going to do here is we are going to create a folder. I have already created a folder where we are going to store our whole project in. And this folder, I called it crypto-API. You can name it anything as well. Everything will still work perfectly. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do is inside of the folder, we are going to create our React app. And remember, I created mine crypto app. I have already created it because sometimes, to be honest, it does take 1 or 3 minutes tops, but sometimes it does feel like an eternity because of all the packages, as you can see here. Just all this, it's a lot, but I really do enjoy using React, so that's why I decided to stick with it. But once you have it, just you can disregard this here. You'll get this message, cd crypto app and npm start. So what you're going to want to do is make sure that you are cding into your crypto app or your React app. And remember, in order to install React, it's npx create React app, just like that, and then the name of your app, and then we can just call it crypto app, and then you can just hit return or enter, and it should work perfectly. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do here is, once again, please just make sure that you are cd'd into your crypto app, and as you can see, it changed from the folder to our React app. And in my previous videos, I've mentioned it as well, but I'll mention it here just in case, because it can, we don't want errors, and it'll drive us crazy just to fix an error or why something isn't working. It can take us half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on how long it actually takes us to find the error. So we just want to make sure that we are inside of our crypto app. So that way, if you install Tailwind, in which we are going to be doing in a little bit, it'll be working, which is going to be inside of your crypto app. Because remember, if it's outside of your React app, it's not going to be working at all. Okay, so once you are inside of your crypto app, we are going to be installing Tailwind. So do that here. We go into Tailwind, and once again, it's tailwindcss.com here, and then either of these links will take you directly to the documentation, and then you could just follow the steps. And normally it's steps 1 through 3 that you really need. So you're just going to copy and then paste it inside of the terminal here. Now this actually takes like legit a second. Okay, perfect. So you'll see that it's been installed. So you're just going to open a Tailwind config file, and then go back to your home page, your Tailwind page, and just copy and paste what's in the content here, the paths. Okay, so once you have that, you just paste it inside of the content, inside of the brackets, and that's it. You're done with the config file. So you can just exit that out and then just return to it here and go to step number 3, and this is where you will be adding your directives for each of the layers into your main CSS file. So you just copy this, and you just go into your source file in React, and just look for your either app CSS or index.css. I like to have mine in my app.css, so we'll just go ahead and do that. Just copy and paste it there, and pretty much that's it. You have it installed here. So we can just go ahead and exit this out. And as you can see, React comes with a lot of extra cluster, I like to call it, but files. But you can just go and delete them, just like that. and then app test. And then what I like to do, it's already kind of like ingrained in my mind, so you just click all of them and then I just go one by one. So this normally, since I'm adding my Tailwind layers here, and we just did it, we can just exit this out. Now it takes us to our app.js. Your logo, you can just delete that, and then I go from the header all the way to the header here, and then just delete that here. And then you can leave that there as well. So then the next one is index. You can just Command A on the Mac and just delete that, or Windows it might be Control A if I'm not mistaken. And then you can just get out of the index.css, and then index.js you can just take out the function of the callback as well as the comment, and then the import of the web vitals, and you should be good to go. Because if you leave one of them, it'll give you an error as soon as you boot up the React server. Okay, so perfect. So once we have this, the next thing that we are going to do is we are just going to go to our browser, and then we are going to go to CoinGeco.com. So once we're in CoinGeco.com, what we can do is we can go to products, where we are going to be looking for our API, and then we can go to crypto API. And it's a really nice page. So if you scroll a little down, you'll see Explore Docs, and you can just click Explore Docs, and you can just scroll down, and you'll be able to use any of these free APIs. And just remember, if you're using any of the APIs, you get a rate limit of 10 to 30 calls a minute. And if you accidentally go over that, not to worry. It does have like a cool period, maybe of about 5 minutes that I've seen, and I've experienced that as well, but somewhere around 5 minutes, and then you should be able to use it up once again. And this is for the free version here. So once again, you get a rate limit of 10 to 30 calls. So if you refresh the page, that's 1 call. If you refresh it 2 more times, that's 3 calls, and so on and so forth. Okay. So now what we're going to do here is we're just going to set up our API. That way we know which one we're going to use. And we're going to go to coins here. And then we're going to go to coins markets /markets. That way we get all of the coins that we're looking for. That includes the price, the market cap, the volume, and the any market related data. So if you scroll down here, you're going to see the required field, and you can just click try it out. And then you can type in whichever currency that you like, and I'm going to just type in USD for the US dollar. Perfect. And then if you scroll a little down, you can change this afterwards as well, but the amount of coins that we want, we're just going to be simple, and we're just going to make 10. So 10 results per page. Okay, and just like that. So if you just take a second to look at all of this, it's pretty cool, all of the things that you can include. And then if down the line you're looking to add any graphs, you can definitely do so by adding in the spark line, and which is just false and then true, and then you'll be able to use the spark line down the road with the API. Okay. Now what you're gonna do is you're just gonna come down to this execute button and just click it. And then you're going to use the request URL page here. And if you scroll a little down, this is pretty much all of the data that you will be receiving, as you can see. So you have Bitcoin, you have Ethereum, you have Tether, you have Binance Coin, you have Ripple, XRP, and so on and so forth until the number 10 that we wanted. And it also comes with your symbol, your name, the image, the current price, and a whole bunch of data, which is pretty awesome, that we can add to our site. So now what we're going to do is we just want to have this on the side. So we're just going to copy this and then just paste it here, just like that. And if you want, you can scroll back up and it'll show just like this. Perfect. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are just going to go back into our Visual Studio Code. And then you can do it here as well, but I like to have things separate from the app. So what I'm going to do is just in your source folder, make another folder and call it pages. Okay, and then inside of the pages folder, you're just going to create a home.js file. Just like that. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to type in RFC EUCAN, and then you can just click, and then it'll give you the whole function. That way you can render the page. Okay. And then if you want to download that extension that allows you to do this, you can just go to extensions, and then it should be ES7, and it should be this one here. It should be this one, ES7 plus React, Redux, and React Native. And it basically all it is as soon as you click something, it'll give you a whole bunch of snippets. That way you don't have to write it all out, and it'll be faster that way as well. Perfect. So let's go back to here, and awesome. So now we have a home, and we can just start the server. So we're just going to do npm. Oh, and just before we start the server, let's install Axios, because we're going to be using Axios to help connect to our APIs. So let's go do that. So we can type in the terminal npm or npm install Axios, just like that. And if you hit enter, it should take a few seconds, and perfect. So it's been installed. So now what we want to do is we want to start our React server. So we can just type in npm start, just like that. And then it should take us directly to another page here, which is going to be blank, since we deleted everything, and perfect, just like that. So if you wanted to, you can just put this to the side and put this to the side, just like that. Awesome. So now what we are going to do here is we can just put this here, and we want to render our home page. So we can just do this inside of our app. So we can just make a self-enclosing home, just like this. And then don't forget to import it. And then just like this, you can just right after the E, you can just click home and the spacebar, and you should be able to get this here. That way you don't have to manually import it. You can just click it and it'll be imported. And as you can see, we have the home here already rendered in our app, which is awesome. Okay. Perfect. Now we can just go to our home. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is we are just going to set up in order to use our to get our APIs, our data. So one thing that we are going to do is we are going to use useState hook and use effect. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to import it. So use state, just like that, and then use effect. And use effect, what it's going to do is going to help us connect to our API. And useState is going to help us store the value. That way we can use it later on. Okay. And when it comes to useState, I mentioned this in my previous video or tutorial. Think of the useState as a cooler. If you're having trouble understanding it, think of it as a cooler. So you have your API, you have your whole API, which is this here. So think of all of this as your beverages, right? You have your water, you have your soda, you have your juices, lemonade, or your beverage of choice. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take all of the beverages and then store them into your cooler, which is the useState. That way you can use it later on throughout your app. And it's the same concept. You take your beverages, you store them into your cooler, right? That way when you're at the beach, you can just, if you want to drink water, right then and there, you can just take out the water, the juice, the soda, or the lemonade, right? So it's the same concept, and hopefully with that, it definitely helps understand useState. That definitely helped me understand it a lot better. So what we're going to do now is we are just going to add the const, define the const here, the variable. So we're going to call this coins, okay? And then we're going to say set coins equals use state, and then brackets. Okay, because it's going to be array. And the reason why it's in brackets is because all of this is an array, and the data is in brackets. So as you can see, the start of the bracket, and if you go all the way down, it's going to be the end of the brackets. Okay, so once again, with all this data, once we used our use effect to get the data, we are going to store it inside of our cooler, our set coins. And then later on, when we want to use it, we can do so easily by just saying by mentioning coins. Okay. And when we get to it, it'll definitely make more sense if it doesn't at the moment here. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to continue here, and let me just make this an H. There we go. Let me just make this an H1 here, and then we can call this crypto app. And let me just make this using Tailwind to the center. And let me just add some padding, about 6. Okay, and let's just make this a little bigger, 2x out. Perfect. Okay, so now we are going to use the use effect in order to connect to our API. So what you want to do is just double click on inspect here, and you can just come down here. Okay, get more space. Now that way you can see if you are getting any errors or if you are connected to your API. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to make some space here, and then we're going to say use effect, just like that, and then the function, right? And then remember, we are making a get request because we are getting the information or the data from the CoinGeco server. Okay, so we're going to say Axios because we're using Axios, or you can say, hey Axios, please help us get the information that's in this path. So we can just go to our tab here where we copied and pasted it, and then you can just copy that and then paste it inside, just like that. Okay, so then after that, then you want to pass in the response that you're getting from the request, and then you want to put it somewhere. So let's put it inside of our console.log. That way we can just see, make sure that it is coming up. So we got res.data, and oh, sorry, I forgot to import Axios. So let's just do that really quickly from Axios here. Remember, if you don't have Axios, it's not going to work here. So perfect. So as you can see, it is working. We are connected to our API, and here is all the data. Remember, we asked only for 10, so we have the 10 here. And that way, and this way, we don't run through our calls, our call rate within like a matter of seconds. Let's just add this empty array dependency just like that. So as you can see, just 1 is now. So every time you refresh a page, it should just load 1 instead of like 6 or 7 with everything you do. Okay. So perfect. So now what we're going to do is we are just going to store it. Remember, we're taking the API, we're taking our beverages, and we want to store it in our cooler. So we're just going to enter our cooler, set coins, and then res.data. And res.data, remember, because this is what we're passing on. We requested this, and we are getting the response, and we are responding it into something. So we want the response to go into this cooler here. Okay, and as you can see, it's perfectly working here, and we are connected. All right, so look at all this. It's a lot of data, and it's pretty cool because it's free. Although it's 10 to 30 calls that you can do a minute, but it's pretty cool that you're getting all this for free. So what we are going to do next here is we are just going to continue. So we want to be able to render this into the data into our app. So in order to do that, let's just make a div here, and then we're going to have to map through the data. That way we can take all of it at once and then just splur it out right into our app. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So what we're going to do coins. Remember, because it's what we're setting now. So instead of set coins, we're using coins because we stored it into our cooler here. And now we're using it. We want to use it because we're at the beach. Remember, you can think of this as being home. And then once under the return, once you're in the return and want to render it, you're at the beach. Just remember that, right? So we're at the beach now and we want to take out a water. So we take out the cooler and then we want to use the water. So the water is any of these that you have here. They just went away. And remember, the beverage is any of these. So you have your Bitcoin, we can say that's a water. Ethereum, we can say that's soda, that's Coca-Cola. Tether, we can say that's lemonade, right? So we can say we want, let me just bring this up. Okay, so now we want to map. Okay, and then this name, it can be anything that you want, but just remember it has to be consistent with what's going to come next, and I'll show you in a little bit. So we just pass it on, and then we can just make another div. That way we can just make a card if we like. Okay, and now we can just say h2, and we want to get the name, right? So we just look to see which beverage we want, right? So I want the name beverage. So I have Bitcoin here. So all we have to do is just, in curly brackets, we go coin dot name. And now it should render. Look at that, guys. It's rendered right onto our app. And this, like I mentioned, you can make this anything you want. So you can make this crypto if you want. Although it's coming from coins, you're mapping it and you're telling it, I want to be able to render it using this here. So you can say crypto and it's going to work the same. As you can see, it's still rendered onto the page and it's still rendering. Oops, that's a lot of stuff, but it's still rendering. Once we refresh the page, it's still rendering. Okay. So let's just change that back to coin. Perfect. And don't forget to make the unique key, because if not, then it's going to just keep on asking for it. So you can just type in coin.id and then that should go away. Perfect. And just like that, guys. So now what we're going to do here is we are just going to add a few more beverages, right, that we want. So let's just take a look. So we want to render not only the name, but we want to have the symbol. So let's just go here, BTC. Perfect. So we can go to the next line here and we can make this an H3 if we want. And it's just a coin dot symbol. And look at that, guys. We have Bitcoin, the name, and then the symbol. Name, symbol, name, symbol, and name, symbol. All right, look at that, guys. Perfect. Now let's just get a few more things here. Now we want the price. So let's just look for the price here, and it should be current price right here. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we can just keep using H headers for this, just for practice. And now we can say coin dot current underscore price. And now it should give us a price. Look at that, guys. And let's just add some padding. I thought I added a padding, but let's add some padding. That way it's not too close to the edge there. Okay, perfect. So now we have our padding. Okay. And now what we want, you can add your dollar symbol. Just like that. And then if you want to, you can add the you can add the commas. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna say to locale string, just like that. Now it's adding the commas. So now that we have our name, our symbol, and our current price, the last thing that we just want to add is our image. And the cool thing is that the data also comes with the image or the icon or the logo. So let's go ahead and do that. So in order to have that rendered, it has to be image tag, self-enclosing tag, and then inside of it you have the source, and then this is where you're going to type in coin dot image, just like that. Now it should pop up, and look at that, guys. It popped up. Now you have all of them, which is pretty cool. And if you wanted to, we can just make them a little smaller, and then we can just say class and then W, and then let's make this, I think 40 pixels would be good. Perfect, just like that, guys. Look at that. Man, that's awesome. And now we can just go ahead and, let's say if we wanted to make a card, we can go ahead and do that. We can just class name and then make it a border, so that way you can see the border. Okay, and then let's make the border, I like that zinc color, so we can just say zinc 800. Awesome. And now if we wanted to, we can have the width of the border, so let's say 100. Let's see how 100 comes out. Let's make it 200. Oh, perfect. Okay, perfect. So we have 200, and now if we wanted to, we can just have in this div the class, and then we can just make it in the middle, and then we can just add a flex. That way it'll be straight up here, it'll be horizontal. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have flex, bring it to the top, and then just define center, move it to the center, and then gap. Let's add a gap, and let's add 4. Okay, and now what we can do is we can just make it wrap. So flex wrap, and now look at that, guys. Perfect. And if we wanted to, now we can also just make the border a little curved, that way it doesn't look all boxy. So we can just say in a full XL, let's say. Oh, it's not border, that's why it's rounded, and then XL, just like that. Okay, why it's not working? It's not working for some. Oh, that's why. Because so if we just take this here and let's just change it, because we have the border here. There we go. All right, and then now if we wanted to, we can just have whatever's inside move to the center, that way we can see it better. Okay, and then we can have the image here, and then we can say just say relative, and then left, let's say 5. Let's see how. Okay, let's make it 15. Oh, no, actually 20 I think was good here. 20, perfect. So it's right in the middle. And lastly, if we wanted to, we can just add some padding there. So let's go ahead and do that. So it's padding, that way there's some breathing room and not too much padding there. Actually, that's right here, it should be here. Perfect. So look at that, guys. So now you have rendered your cryptos here. And now if you wanted to, which is cool, let's go ahead and do this. You can easily just change this. Instead of 10, let's make 20, right? Page results, now we should see 20. Look at that, guys. And now let's say 50. We'll just do 50 for now. And then look at that. So we have just rendered easily our cryptos with our crypto name, our crypto symbol, the current price, and their image. Look at that, guys. And it was pretty simple. So I hope everyone enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Please post them in the comment section. And if you found this video to be helpful, definitely please give it a thumbs up. That way I can keep knowing that I can keep producing these type of content out for you guys. All right, so we can all learn together. So that's basically it. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.